Can we start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm audible, no? Clear, no?
Yes, sir.
So what you will do if you get a question from Weber, I'll give you a question. Examine Max Weber's method of maintaining objectivity in social research. Examine Max Weber's method of maintaining objectivity in social research. Okay, so examine Max Weber's method of maintaining objectivity in social research. Take a minute and tell me what all things you will write here. Tell me how will you start the answer, what is your introduction, what should be your body, what all things you will write in the body, what should be your conclusion. This is actually a 20 marker. It is actually a direct UPSC question only, 20 marker. If it is 10 marker, directly you can start with the method. Since it is 20 marker, you need to make that introduction and all those things. So what all things you'll write here?
Social action.
That is the scope of sociology according to Weber. Studying social action. I'm talking about, see, first you will underline the keywords, method of maintaining objectivity. Talk, Mayank.
So we can actually start with the sociology's what definition he gives with respect to science, right? Like sociology is a science which attempts to interpret and understand the social action.
Yes.
And apart from that, we can say that he's more into science-based understanding sociology of science by saying like in the science we have matter, similarly here we have the human being. And this was in the introduction part. Then explaining that he has used the objectivity, we can explain the yesterday's the Protestant ethics and structuralism. There he has used ideal type and the comparative analysis, which is like a science-based approach to understand the Protestant, this theory of capitalism.
Okay.
That we can also talk about the ideal types. He has talked about the ideal types. That is the scientific way of understanding with the social phenomena.
So basically, you can start with you'll start with the definition of sociology itself. You can simply start with definition of sociology according to Weber. Sociology is an interpretive understanding of social action in order thereby to arrive at an explanation of cause and effect. Okay, so there we are talking about cause and effect relationship, and we are saying sociology is a science which aims at interpretive understanding. So there itself, when we are talking about science, the role of objectivity is coming, and then you can talk about objectivity. So you can say for Weber, sociology is actually objective understanding of subjective reality. So Weber, sociology is basically objective understanding of subjective reality. So you can talk about Weber deviated from the positivist, and you can say what is that deviation in the beginning. So in the introduction, these are the things that you can incorporate. You can define, and you can say the interpretive understanding, you can say objective understanding of subjective reality, and for this purpose, for this objective understanding of the subjective reality, he gave distinctive methods. Yes, Arun, tell me.
Sir, can we include Verstegen method in this?
Yeah, all these methods. That is what I'm going to talk.
Okay, sir.
So here we have only started off with the introduction. So we just discussed about introduction. So introduction should be all these things. You can write about the definition of sociology. Sociology is a science which aims at interpretive understanding of social action, and then you talk about sociology is the objective understanding of subjective reality, and the deviation from positivism you can write. And but Weber stress on ensuring objectivity, and for that matter, for that purpose, Weber have given different methods, and Weber demonstrated the use of these methods also. And then you need to talk about which all method you will talk about. You start with Verstehen. Okay, you explain Verstehen, you explain the steps of Verstehen that we have discussed, that is direct observational understanding and explanatory understanding, and you discuss the 3 steps, right? 1, 2, 3 steps that we have discussed over there, 3, 4 steps that we have discussed. So Verstehen you can explain, and then you talk about what is ideal type. So after explaining Verstehen, before you write about ideal type, you have to tell in one line that you can maximize the objectivity by incorporating some other methods also. Although you can use Verstehen for the study of social action for comprehension, but to maximize the objectivity, to find more causes, as causal pluralism is one of the most important pillar of Weber's methodology, Weber also suggests that other methods can also be incorporated along with Verstehen. So you can talk about ideal type. He also gave the concept of ideal type. Ideal types are the regularities, and then you can say examples of ideal type. You can see, you can talk about then you can talk about what Protestant ethic and spirit of capitalism we have done. So that example you can write social action, the ideal types you can write. Okay, and then what you need to say is one of the most important pillars of Durkheim Weber's methodology, that is causal pluralism. Causal pluralism. Okay, so you need to say causal pluralism, and here after ideal type you can also talk about comparative analysis, and you can give example of Protestant ethic and spirit of capitalism, and then you say causal pluralism, and again you talk about the example of spirit and substance that we have discussed. Okay, you talk about spirit and substance. So because of causal pluralism, you can make it more objective. More objectively you can understand the cause and effect relationship. Multiple causes are possible, so nobody will criticize you. So that is the reason why when we discuss about critical analysis today, you will have very limited criticisms compared to Durkheim, Marx, etc. in Weber. So this is the body part, and what you need to do is you also need to write criticisms. So most of the students, what they do is, based on the question, they'll write about the introduction and these methods. And I tell you, once we're done with sociology, everybody know these methods. Not only you, everybody studying syllabus. It is direct. Previous year questions, it is repeatedly asked. So everybody know what is Verstehen, what is ideal type, what is comparative analysis, what is causal pluralism. Maybe in a different way. Even at least if they don't know the concept, what is exactly causal pluralism, but still they know something about this. They have mugged up it. All the students will do that. So this time everybody have access to everything, everybody have access to all the materials, and everybody is ready to work also. So everybody know all these things. So there is no advantage that you're going to get in this part. So when you're writing the answer, and most of you are asking me how to write extra or how to make that difference, maybe 1 or 2 marks extra is only what you can get. Okay, and that makes it to the top. So here you also need to incorporate criticisms, and you say, although all these things we have discussed for what? To ensure objectivity. You tell where you compromise objectivity, or what are the possibility of subjectivity. So you can say Verstehen is a method Weber himself is not used. Okay, and then there can be subjectivity in these steps also. Ideal types need a trained investigator, and still the elements that you choose involve subjectivity. For example, the elements that Weber chosen from Protestant ethic, those elements Weber find it suitable for his conclusion he chose. Similarly, Hinduism, when he selected the ideal types, he selected ideal types again to suit his conclusion. He did not choose those ideal types or regularities or elements from Hinduism which even promote capitalism. There are elements in Hinduism which can promote capitalism. There are Hindus who are capitalist. There are different studies. We will talk about that later. Like when it comes to paper 2, we will discuss about a study on industrialist of Madras. That is a very famous study by Milton Singer, and that is what you need to add as a criticism of Weber. Okay, so I'll discuss that at that point of time in detail, but here when we discuss about criticism, I'll just mention the Milton Singer study of Industrialist of Madras is actually opposite of Weber's understanding of Hinduism or Indian religion. So that way also you can criticize ideal type. And when you take up comparative analysis, yesterday also we have discussed the comparative analysis between Protestant ethic and spirit of capitalism. That is also colored by subjectivity. So in all these areas, subjectivity of the investigator is very much possible. Now you go with the conclusion. In conclusion, what you will say, although Weber is talking about objectivity, Weber is stressing on objectivity and give distinctive methods, but Weber also acknowledged the fact that in science, they study matter which do not have any consciousness, and the cause and effect relationship can be easily established and complete objectivity is possible. Whereas in sociology, we are studying the human beings who's having their own consciousness and the behavior cannot be predicted in terms of cause and effect relationship. Therefore, there is a limitation in ensuring objectivity. But still, Weber tried his maximum to ensure objectivity by using all these methods. And according to him, absolute objectivity, or not, if not according to him, for the later non-positivist, absolute objectivity is neither possible nor desirable in sociology. So this should be your, if it is a short answer, then there is no problem. You will be writing all this content and everybody will be writing the same content mostly. But still you can write one line criticism, and that conclusion, this criticism part and the conclusion part is what make you different from others. Like this is how we are discussing all the theories. So we have discussed all the criticisms for all the theories. Now here I am taking up all these three together here. That's it. So this is how you need to write the answer. Many of you were asking me in message, so that's why I thought of explaining this. So is this clear? Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was helpful. Thank you.
So this should be the way you should you should think, and this is a format that you need to keep in your mind. So even though the question is about what to do to ensure objectivity, you may know everything. And you see, there is no point in writing this part too much by skipping this and this. Okay, so if you try to fill your pages only with this, because the question is asked about objectivity, so you try to fix maximum method, that is not going to give you much mark. That is not going to give you the holistic understanding on the question. So that particular question which is asked, we should be seeing that question from different perspective, different viewpoint, different angles. So we are talking about Weber's introduction, we are giving a good introduction, we are talking about his concern, we are talking about his scope of sociology, then what he proposed to ensure objectivity we are also talking about his limitations, and we are concluding. So this is the different dimensions that you have to brought in if that answer need to be holistic. And 20 marker answers, these are actually checking your, not only aptitude, it also checks your attitude. Okay, attitude means it's the way you apply the knowledge. Aptitude means aptitude means everybody have this. Okay, and people rarely write all those things, other things. Is that okay? Oh, yeah. There is one more question. Discuss the role of Calvinist ethic in the development of capitalism. There is no doubt in that, no? Role of Calvinist ethic. Yes, that is direct one. And then how does Weber use the notion of ideal type in his theory of bureaucracy? That we'll discuss. Okay. Then, yeah, this question. Explain how Weber's characterization of capitalism is different from Marx. We have discussed it yesterday. Is that okay? Will you be in a position to write that? Explain how Weber's characterization of capitalism is different from those of Marx. It is basically about religion only. So what Marx says is capitalism create religion, and here religion create capitalism. So this is the reverse relationship that you need to talk over there. Okay, and then you can say, this is the main point, then you can say Weber is using a micro perspective, Marx is using a macro perspective. So those are the supplementary points, but the main point is something which we have already discussed. Alright, okay, so can we go for critical analysis for today?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, now before that, so what is our structure in critical analysis? Normally, we have already discussed two thinkers we have already completed. So you already know we have done the critical analysis of Marx, we have done the critical analysis of Durkheim. So we following a particular structure, we follow the structure contribution we will do, right? So if the question is asked on critical analysis, first you will go for the introduction and then you will go for that particular theory. Then you will go for CCR, right? The first C is contribution, then criticism, then relevance. So what all things are common here? This introduction is common, and then this contribution is common, then the relevance is common. This criticism is divided into two: general criticism and specific criticism, in which general criticism is common. So this 1, 2, 3, 4 parts are common. So now what I'll do, I'll give you this common contribution, common relevance and common criticism, general criticism, and specific also. Specific means criticism on social action, criticism on ideal type, criticism on, what is the last theory? Protestant ethic and spirit of capitalism. That we will discuss separately. Is that okay? Introduction we have already discussed, and all the theories also we have already completed. So to contribution, I will give you the write-up. Now before that, what I'm more interested in is, you can tell me what should be the general criticism. Now you know about Weber, so you can tell me what all things you can add here. And obviously there is a limited criticism only when it comes to Weber, because he is a very smart person and he is talking about causal pluralism, causal probabilism. That itself will shut your mouth. And you can only, only criticize him in terms of his approach, in terms of his viewpoints, in terms of his perspective, etc. Not in terms of identifying the cause or anything. Okay, so that is very difficult. You say some other cause, for example, if you say some, Weber is talking about X and Y, spirit and substance. Now if you are saying something more is also there, okay, that may be also there. That is what Weber is going to say, because causal pluralism is something which he is also accepting. Okay, so tell me, what all criticisms you can write here?
We can talk about Marx. Marx criticizes the way he says the religion, about the religion, and
no, that Himanshu. Himanshu, I'm talking about general criticism. You are talking about the specific one. You're talking about specific religion. You're talking about that we will discuss generally. The criticism that you raised is criticism on religion. I'm saying generally what all criticism, like when we discussed about Marx, what all the general criticism. Marx is a conflict theorist. Marx is a reductionist because he is reducing everything in terms of economic infrastructure. Marx is giving importance to society. Marx is giving importance to economic infrastructure. Okay, then class polarization. So different general criticism we have discussed. Same in case of Durkheim also we have done. So in that similar context, what are the general criticisms that you feel that this approach of Weber may not be correct? What do you feel? That is what I'm looking for.
Cause and effect aspect cannot be completely applied to social phenomena. Hello?
Yeah. Cause and effect. But we should try to establish cause and effect. That is not a criticism. Even only the non-positivists later claim that there is no need to establish cause and effect. But even in their attempt also, all these interpretation is basically to identify cause and effect in a different way. So if you want to, we can write that, but that's not a strong point that you can raise here. Okay, or you can say limitations in establishing cause and effect. Yeah, Kanishk, you can talk, that will be better rather than messaging.
Sir,
Yeah, Tejashwi.
Weber model is only applicable to early capitalism and it emphasizes only on asceticism. That is the supply side.
Weber is talking about?
Weber model is only applicable to early capitalism, that is the supply side. And it emphasizes only on asceticism.
Tejashwini, I'm talking about general criticism. Even just before, when Himanshu told me, I've raised this point that is a specific criticism on religion.
Okay, he's a macro approach.
Yes, macro, the micro, right? You can say Weber is giving more importance to micro. So which thinker you will use here to criticize Weber?
I can use Marx.
We can use Marx. We can use
Durkheim also.
Durkheim. Okay, so first preference is actually for Durkheim, and then you can give preference to Marx also. To an extent, Marx is also considering society as supreme. So he is giving importance
When
to.
it is, when we are criticizing Marx, we are saying concerned to macro, and
Yes.
when we are talking, so how can we get
No. We don't want to.
micro, macro?
We don't want to justify anything. So actually, that is a good thing that we have. No, we don't want to say anyone is superior, and we don't make any such conclusion also. So when we talk about Weber, we talk about Weber in a good way. When we criticize Weber, we talk bad about Weber.
Okay.
And in that context, we can use Marx and Durkheim and everything. But probably, if you see among these three, most rational sociologists is actually Weber. I don't think that we all are working for society or because of society's pressure, right? So it is all about individual meanings and individual motives, individuals' understanding on society, and all these is what matters more in the contemporary society. So to understand the modern society in any way, Weber is better. Micro perspective is better, and that we will see in the relevance. When we discuss about the relevance, I'll tell you. Even individual surveys are conducted by the multinational corporations before they launch any product, right? Whether it is good for you, whether you will use this, you prefer this, etc. So all these are individual meanings are important these days. Highly individualistic society. But when we criticize, because the Shalu Singh was saying something, so he is not giving any solutions to the problem. So what you can say is his theories generally lack a value commitment. That means, like, if you see Marx and Durkheim and all, they are talking about the issue, and they are also talking about a solution. Although when it comes to Durkheim, the solution is within the system, and he is talking about abnormal form and solutions. Marx is giving a radical solution, but Weber is not at all concerned about that. Weber is only concerned about understanding the phenomena, okay, and explaining. So his theories lack a value commitment. That is one point you can say. Lack. Yes.
So can we say that Weber is only taking into consideration only the regularities of the society?
That we can say when we discuss about ideal types.
Okay.
Okay, that is a specific one. Even here also, if you want to, in general, we can say, but not all theories are based on general ideal types, no?
Okay.
Okay, so that will be more better when we discuss about ideal type. Okay, so here micro, this is something which you can use, and then this value commitment, that is also something which you can say, and obviously it will be very difficult to criticize Weber. There are obvious limitations, and one more, if you want to, you can say even though he is talking about objectivity, his theories are highly subjective. Even his theory of Protestant ethic and spirit of capitalism, you can say he chose those elements from Protestant ethic which will give him the required conclusion, or which will help him to make that comparative analysis which is suitable to capitalism. So the subjectivity. So this is also you can write as general criticism. So these are the three main points that you need to know. And even if you don't know any specific criticism, it's okay, I'm saying again, but if you know one or two, it will be always better. I would say maybe 2 to 3 specific criticism is enough, and very much enough, and already you know about that, and we will discuss also the specific criticism. Now itself I'll give you the specific criticism. So is that okay?
Sir, can you repeat the subjectivity one?
Subjectivity, what is the doubt, Shubham? What we are discussing, what Weber is saying is you have to ensure objectivity, right?
Yeah, yes.
And Weber gave different methods like Verstehen, ideal types, right? Causal pluralism, comparative analysis, etc.
Yes, sir.
And in all these methods, he is talking about an investigator. And while selecting the ideal types, Weber himself is subjective. So forget about any investigator that he is talking about. Like I've told you, the ideal types of Hindu religion he constructed.
But he himself But he himself told that 100% objectivity is not possible.
Yeah, but
Absolute objectivity.
yeah, that is there. 100% objectivity is not possible. He delineated the subject matter, but still he is stressing on objectivity. In that context, these are for what? These are for the sake of criticizing. We are criticizing.
Okay.
Okay, and that is exactly the case of Durkheim also, for criticizing, and for that purpose we criticize.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So can we move to the PDF now?
Yes, sir.
So Weber's theory or method are considered significant in the context of development of sociology as a distinct discipline. For this purpose, he is also known as founding father of modern sociology. So the same thing that we have discussed in case of Durkheim also. Weber introduced an element of non-positivism by challenging the supremacy of positivist perspective. During 19th century, his emphasis on understanding the meanings gave birth to a new approach towards the understanding of society and individual. Weber introduced new methods like Verstehen, causal pluralism, ideal types, comparative analysis, and also demonstrated adequately their application. In his study of Protestant ethic and spirit of capitalism, the use of ideal types, comparative analysis, and causal pluralism is quite clear. Weber's contribution continued till date in terms of various perspectives which are influenced by his assumptions. Still, there is a vast body of sociological research which is based on Weber's understanding of social reality. Okay? Now, general criticism. It is generally believed that Weber's theory lack a value commitment in terms of relevance of a particular phenomena in society. Weber emphasizes only on or more on understanding the reality and emphasize or talk less on providing solution to the problem existing in society. Okay, so that is the first point that we have discussed. Second, Weber's theory ignore the pressure exerted by the collectivity. That means here we are going to talk about micro. So the societal role is actually ignored. According to Durkheim, the meanings which individuals carry are generated by the macro reality. Macro reality means the whole society or the collectivity, and individual just conforms to it. Similarly, Marx also laid emphasis or gave emphasis on the structure of society while understanding individual consciousness. So can you talk about that particular statement? Can anyone tell me that statement which is connecting the structure of society and individual consciousness? I've given you a very beautiful statement, and I've also told you if you try to attempt a question, you can attempt, and few of you are already attempted question also.
Being and social.
No, I'm talking about that statement. A very beautiful statement was there. It is not the consciousness of a man that decides his social existence. On the other hand, it is a social existence that decides his consciousness. You remember that statement?
Yes, sir.
It was from which theory? Alienation. Okay. So the postmodern perspective nowadays employ both individual and collective levels of understanding, collective influence for understanding social reality. So we actually talked about, criticizing Weber. We have used here Durkheim. We have talked about Karl Marx, and here we are talking about Merton, Parson, right? They have integrated approach, micro and macro. So we are going to start with Parson in the next session. A very important thinker, and people consider it as very difficult, but we will make it very simple. So people say it is difficult, I don't know why it is, but we will see it. Monday we will start, okay, not tomorrow. So that's about postmodern people. And although Weber argues for objectivity in sociological research, but the theories or the methods which he gave often involve subjectivity of the investigator. So these are the three general criticisms you can use, and you can say, example, the choice of elements of ideal types has been left to the investigator, which involves value judgment. Okay. Then criticisms on each cases. I'll give you 3 or 4. So first of all, social action. Weber's analysis focuses more on individual social action and never differentiate this from collective social action. Different theory of crowd behavior have proved that the collective action have their own nature and are distinct from individual action. Thus, his theory of social action is incomplete in this regard. So here the problem is he is ignoring the collective action, only talking about individual action. Okay. Then second one, Weber stress only on understanding subjective meanings in order to understand cause and effect. But okay, this point you will understand more when we talk about Merton. So subjective meanings means why. If I ask you why you are studying sociology, tell me quickly. Somebody, Shubham, why you are studying sociology? Is it because you have a interest in sociology?
Kind of.
No, you want to become an IAS officer, right?
Yes.
That is why. So it is actually a means to an end in this context. It is not the end in itself. It is not for studying sociology. And this is an ethical, when it comes to ethics also, you will see this intrinsic value, this, I don't remember exact word. So this something is means to an end. So here you are studying for the means to an end. What is that end? To become an IAS officer. What does it mean? You are studying sociology. It is not the end in itself. So here your objective is basically to clear the exam, just score 300 plus mark and get out of it. Then you are never going to read sociology also. But when you are doing this, so this is a subjective meaning imposed by whom? The actor. And based on that I can establish the cause and effect, right? This is a cause, you are doing this action and I know the effect that you will become an IAS officer. So this is how, based on the individual meaning, Weber will establish the cause and effect. This you understood, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but when we talk about Merton says it is not the individual meaning that you are looking to pass this exam, but at the same time when you are preparing for sociology, something else also happening within you. Your perspective of seeing things are changing, the way you understanding the crime, the way you see the suicide, it's already changed, right? Than 1 month back. The way you were thinking about inequality, the way as a general studies student see inequality and gender equality, patriarchy, all those things have already changed. So that is actually unintended consequences. So Merton also proposes not only identify the subjective meanings of the individual, there are unintended outcomes. This is not intended, but it is automatically inculcated, right? So when you are studying the subjective meanings of the individual, it is actually partial. This is only one side. There are some other functions or some other dysfunctions also possible. That's what unintended consequence. I will discuss when we discuss about Merton, manifest function, manifest dysfunction, latent function and latent dysfunction. Latent means something which is hidden. So when you are preparing for this exam, something which is hidden is also happening. Your knowledge is improving, your quality is improving, your personality is improving, your perspective is improving, the character is improving. All these developments are there which are unintended, which is actually happening behind this preparation. Okay, so Merton talks of understanding both in terms of manifest and latent. You don't want to worry about these words, manifest and latent function. This will be asked as a question also, and this is there in your syllabus. In Merton, we will discuss this. Okay, now Weber never himself used the method of Westerhan in practice, which generate doubt about its practical applicability. Moreover, the ability of the investigator is very important in this method, which raises question mark on it being a method itself. Is it a method? It is just comprehension, right? Then, next one, while studying social action, again the fourth one, while studying social action, Weber ignored conflict, which limit its use, which is having that means its theory is actually having a limited use in practice. Thus, his theory of social action is considered more significant in terms of delineation of the scope of subject matter of sociology. So his theory of social action is basically understood in terms of separating the the subject matter of sociology. If you remember in the scope of sociology chapter or that particular topic I've told you, he delineated the scope of sociology in terms of studying social action, because a better study of social action is given by Parson, and we will see that Monday. So this theory, what Weber gave, the 4 ideal types, Weber will reduce into 3 ideal types, and Weber gave some definition and two condition. When it comes to Parson, one more definition will be there, some more conditions will be there. So we will see that Parson modified over Weber in the theory of social action, and that in itself is actually a question. The question will be, what is theory of social action and how Parson modified over Weber, like that you will get question. So here his theory of social action is considered more significant in terms of separating or delineation of the subject matter. For example, this example you can add later, Parson. This example also you don't want to worry about that previous example. That also you will add later. This also you will add later. Once we're done with this is from Merton and this is from Parson. So next, criticism on ideal types. Weber's method of ideal type often criticized of involving subjectivity of the investigator. Okay, random general criticism, subjectivity, because that ideal types that it is coming, he has not suggested any definite method of identifying the elements of ideal type. That means he is talking about regularities, but different people identify different regularities. So that involves subjectivity. There is no definite method, and he is saying this is a measuring rod, but he is not giving any scale to measure, etc. Okay. And his construction of ideal type of Protestant ethic is often accused of involving bias, that Weber chose those elements which suited for his conclusion. Similarly, the ideal types of religion of India was a one-sided view of the religion, ignoring large number of elements which are widely practiced in India. The use of method of ideal type involve comparison. This is the next part. The use of ideal types involve comparison. That means comparative analysis, which is again abstract and are totally left to the ability of the investigator. So different people can make different comparative analysis. It is not necessary that the Protestant ethic and spirit of capitalism, that ideal types, if you go for a comparative analysis, you will get the same conclusion. Weber got that and we are studying that. Some other people can interpret it in a different way also. Moreover, Weber called ideal types as measuring rods but failed to mention a scale. Okay, these are just for the sake of criticizing. Okay, criticism on religion, I'm just giving in general. I'll give you the write-up later. Apart from this PDF, I'll send you some more also for the criticism. So he ignored Bhagavad Gita. So in that there are many more elements which can help in capitalism to prosper in India also, or in Hindu religion also. Milton Singer study we will study in paper 2. I'll talk about the study of industrialist of Madras. Okay, and that is very important in the chapter of family. So when we discuss about the chapter of family, this is related to this is related to joint family. Okay, so how joint family helped in the development of industrialism, capitalism, that we will see. Here religion developed the capitalism. There Milton Singer will say joint family also helped in the development of capitalism, and Indian context it is joint family. So we will see that. Okay, don't break your head here. Then capitalism. This one, these are general. Capitalism can grow in any religion and not necessary to be Protestant. So Marx says oversimplify the development of capitalism just by using religious ideals. That is never possible. He ignored the source of wealth for capitalism. Okay, Samuelson study. Criticism of Marx. You can write here reverse relationship that we have already discussed. Weber says it is religion resulted in capitalism. Marx says it is capitalism resulted in religion. You can see the reverse relation. Okay, W, Weber and M, just exactly the opposite. And the very famous saying is there that Weber is writing in the presence of the ghost of Marx. Okay, capitalism had given rise to Protestant ethic and not the vice versa. Not the vice versa. Okay. No relevance. Though Weber's theories suffer from a number of criticisms, still his theories are found to be highly relevant in understanding the present society. Post-industrial society has witnessed a tremendous increase in individualism, isolation and autonomy. So post-industrial society, nowadays if you need to understand society, Weber perspective is much better because it is so much individualistic and people are so much isolated. The collective consciousness and the collectivity's influence is very less. And if you see, even Durkheim also accepted that fact, right? Where Durkheim accepted this fact, can you tell me? When we discussed about organic solidarity and Mechanical, basically, mechanical division of labor. When we discussed about division of labor, it has been already discussed. So mechanical solidarity, which is all about collectivity, which is all about following norms and values, which is all about repressive laws, is coming down with time. And the organic solidarity, which is based on highly individualistic and highly isolated, is actually going up. Since it is based on isolation and less integration, the suicide rate is also going up, and all those things we have understood. So the voluntary will of an individual is quite relevant, and the control of macro structure on individual is reducing. That means I don't care, we don't care society, we don't care what the other people talk, right? It is about the individual will which matters, and that makes people existence now. It is not the societal will, or nobody want to care for what society think these days. This had led to growing importance of individual meaning in understanding the social reality. For example, in the present consumerist society, the extensive survey done by MNCs, multinational corporations, before launching a product echoes the importance of Weber. Similarly, in the present democratic society, subjective meanings of the people can even determine the governments. Nowadays, social phenomena are understood by using Weber's ideas. For example, George Ritzer, in his book McDonaldization of Society, praises the application of Weber's idea by extending it to individual experience. The relevance of Weber can also be understood from the popularity of various non-positivist methods like phenomenology, ethnomethodology, etc. Tell me, any doubts? Any doubts in any of the?
Can we say in the general criticism?
Tell me, Himanshu.
Yeah, so can we say in the general criticism that even though he talks about that we cannot achieve 100% objectivity and subjectivity has some place in it, so but he doesn't talk about much about the subjectivity.
Yeah, I've already told that point.
In the general in the general criticism?
Yeah, in the general criticism also you can write that.
Okay.
I've told that point in the general criticism.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed it.
Yeah. Anything else? So this is very simple. So the topic which we left out is authority and bureaucracy, that we will do it with the this chapter, politics chapter, because it is connected to that. Any doubts? We have time, you can ask. No doubts? Then we can stop.
Yes, sir.
So we will.
Give us tips for prelims.
Which one? Prelims? See, again I'm telling you, you have to focus on your prelims only now. You don't worry, don't break your head for sociology. If you clear prelims and you come to me, I'll make sure that you will clear mains. It's a guarantee, okay? I can help you in mains in any way. I can even sit with you and I can discuss everything, and writing and everything we can manage after prelims, even though only 1 month or 2 months left. It's okay. But prelims, it is very difficult, and spend maximum time, solve at least 100 question papers, and 100 question paper into 100 questions, you will get 10,000 concepts. Okay, read all these solutions. Not when I'm talking about solving means don't sit in an exam environment and solve. Maybe once in a week you can do that, but get all those question papers from all these institutes and keep on reading that. And there is no need to revise also. When you get the try to read maximum, and you get the options, you will be in a position to recollect it. So there is no point in keep on revising for prelims except for those core areas. Just keep on reading maximum question paper every day, at least 1 or 2, at least 100 or 200 questions every day. If you can go through that, then you'll be super confident also, and you will clear also.
Sir?
Yeah.
But the problems with the history subjects, sir.
History, I have done videos, you can see those videos, but it is so lengthy now, you don't have time, no?
Yes, sir. Is it viable to leave medieval and ancient?
Medieval you can leave, but don't take chance with ancient. Even medieval also, they can ask questions. These days they are asking questions, but still, if you're not done with it, you can take chance, but don't take chance with ancient.
Just the 7th NCT I am done with for medieval.
No, at least medieval and ancient, what you can do is, I've told you, this 100 question paper, or at least 60 to 80 question paper, if you solve, you'll get a lot of it will cover in itself all the important questions. In that way also, you can cover the important questions which are also having some current affair connection. So that will be better rather than going to this these textbooks at this point of time. That way you can cover.
And for modern history, spectrum
is enough.
Okay, sir.
So if you have seen my classes, then it will be easy for you to read spectrum. It is actually connecting spectrum in a good way, completely. First few parts it is Governor General, so that is is from a different book, and then from 1885, I think, if you see 1905, from the partition of Bengal, if you see the videos, it is from it is connecting spectrum. You get every connection.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
So one thing, the other day when I asked you about the current affairs, coverage, so you suggested to go through the Vision IS compilation. So what I'm asking you is, sir, looks like that Vision IS, I think all of the toppers, they also suggest about Vision IS, but the thing is, just to take out the point which are important in terms of prelims exam, that is little difficult. So if you look into Vision IS, that is more focused towards mains exam. So can you just suggest us something like how we can figure out which are the things, how we can make out questions from prelims from Vision IS compilation?
Vision is enough. Even for prelims also Vision is enough, and Vision or Insight, any one of this is enough. So
we have PT 365 that you can use, Rahul.
Yeah, that is enough.
Okay, but even if I have seen in Quora, so in 2018 or 19, not a single question came from Vision IS compilation.
No, nobody is sitting up with any material and preparing question. It is all about luck, and it is not that any time when you toss a coin, the equal probability is there. It is exactly the same with everyone. And what you can do, what you can do maximum is the important areas you can cover. So it is better to cover all the important areas rather than searching for that minute things here and there.
Okay.
That is always better, because that will at least help you in mains, and here prelims you don't want to score too high, no, like you just need to cross that thing, so that's enough. And Quora and all, people can talk anything, so even anyone can come, anyone can write anything, so.
Sir, how about economy? Like general trend shows that it's mostly from the current affairs oriented with respect to economy.
If you know
we need to focus on the static one.
If you know the concepts, only need to read economic survey, nothing else. I used to read only economic survey, but the concepts are strong. That is.
So then for economy, if we have the concept on national accounting and banking, is it enough, sir?
That alone is not enough, no. So have you seen that 20 modules? I had sent you that 20 modules in the Telegram channel. So if you see that much, at least you need to cover the 20 modules. Maybe the 20th module that is related to that economic crisis, that you can leave. Apart from that, everything else you have to cover.
So under that, I'm including everything, like the calculation part, everything is coming under that.
Okay.
So will it be enough if you study that thing and the 5-year plans, all the 5-year plans for economy?
You see that syllabus which I had sent you, that will do everything, but that will do everything. You just go through that syllabus. I think around 300 topics are given.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. And out of the 300 topics, I have already done around close to 200 videos also.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. What else?
And one more thing, sir.
Yeah.
Till which month you have to study the current affairs?
Up to which month?
Yes, sir.
So 1 month before prelims.
Okay, sir.
Now it is.
So, June 2019. Hello?
Economy video and Telegram will definitely help in mains and prelims. That is prelims and mains oriented. Many topics I'm discussing from the prelims and mains perspective. June 2019 to you read from till September or August September. Even we are assuming that the question paper is going to be printed by later only. So you prepare accordingly. And if it is going to help you in mains also, so you try to read at least August, September, up to September. You try to read from last June, and if possible, in case of science and technology, try to read 2 years current science and technology current affairs. 2 years PT 365 you collect and read that. In case of science and tech.